the signal that ended the war. In the year 2483, the stars were no longer distant. Humanity had stretched its hands far beyond the solar system. The great colonies of the Orion Arm glimmered like fireflies, tiny, determined sparks in the vast dark. But the stars were not empty. For centuries, the galaxy had been a battlefield between ancient powers, the cold-blooded Kryth dominion, whose crystalline fleets harvested entire suns, and the Vaari collective, beings of living plasma. Their war had burned across spiral arms long before Earth built its first fusion engine. When humans finally entered the stars, both sides expected them to kneel. They were wrong. At first, Earth was ignored, a young species with nothing but stubborn willpower. But the day the Kryth attacked Lagrange 9, everything changed. Their obsidian ships tore through the orbital stations like paper. Every species before had folded under Kryth aggression. Humans did not. Captain Amina Riaz of the human starship Aurora's Edge stood on the bridge as alarms screamed red. "Lock railguns. Fire on my mark." The Kryth flagship, 10 kilometers long, unfolded its weapon spines like a flower made of knives, Amina whispered. "Mark." A single tungsten slug, small compared to their enemy's massive arsenal, punched through the void at relativistic speed. The Kryth ship trembled. Its crystalline core fractured like glass under a hammer. The first alien fleet in centuries to lose to a primitive species fell silent. Word spread like a solar flare. Across the galaxy, other races watched. Humanity was reckless, fearless, brilliant, dangerous. And then the Vaari came, not as conquerors but as witnesses. A shimmering envoy of living light entered Earth orbit, pulsing in electromagnetic frequencies that translated to one simple message: join us, or be consumed by the war. Years passed. Humanity didn't just join the galactic war, they changed it. Where the Kryth used overwhelming force, humans used creativity. Where Vaari used ancient wisdom, humans hacked, adapted, learned faster. They built ships that could think, weapons that sang, and fleets that moved like swarms of sparks. But something new happened, something no one expected. Human engineers detected a pattern deep within the background radiation of the war zone. A faint, rhythmic signal. It pulsed every 8.3 seconds, older than any known civilization. Dr. Elias Novak, chief xenolinguist, spent months decoding it. It wasn't Kryth. It wasn't Vaari. It wasn't human. It was a warning. Do not let the war echo reach the core. If the three burn the core, the spiral dies. The Vaari dismissed it as ancient superstition. The Kryth didn't care. Humans investigated. They followed the signal through black holes and dead systems. They found something in the void between stars, a structure the size of a planet, a lattice of metal older than galaxies, the machine of echoes. When Amina and her fleet entered its orbit, the Kryth were waiting. Thousands of their warships encircled the relic. "Broadcast," Amina said, "all across the galactic network. Every race saw the live feed. A human captain standing before a galactic superweapon. The Kryth intended to ignite it. Amina knew one thing. If they did, the war would never end. It would consume every star, including Sol. The Vaari begged humanity to retreat. But humans never retreated from extinction. Aurora's Edge dove through enemy fire like a comet. Hull plating cracked. Engines screamed. But it was enough. They reached the core of the machine. Inside, Elias Novak found something impossible. A human voice. "We were the first. We left before you were born. Do not make our mistake." The machine wasn't alien. It was human, an echo of a previous human civilization that had risen and fallen eons ago. Their war had burned galaxies to ash, and they left this warning. For themselves, Amina placed her hand on the activation core. One choice, ignite it, and humanity would win, but at the cost of everything. Or shut it down and maybe, just maybe, the war would end. She whispered, "Not this time." With one pulse, the machine went silent. Every ship in orbit felt it. Kryth weapon systems blinked off. Vaari plasma flares cooled. The signal spread like dawn. Across the galaxy, ancient kill codes embedded in every war engine recognized the command, cease, for the first time in 1,000,000 years. The galaxy was quiet. 5 years later, the Kryth sat beside Vaari in the galactic concord. Humanity led not because they conquered, but because they chose not to. Captain Amina Riaz stood before billions. Her voice carried across light years. The greatest strength of humanity is not our weapons. It's that we remember. We choose to stop the fire. The stars no longer burned with war. They burned with hope. And somewhere, deep in the background of the universe, the old human voice whispered once more, "Good. You learned."